over, barbarian. We gotta make room for M3GAN. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Pragmatic Addict here. Super glad to have you here for this video. So, I just got out of my first movie of January. And wow, what a way to start the year. Yes, guys, so we are gonna be sitting here talking about M3GAN.
It's insane, right?
And let me just say before I start this review, oh my god, I am so glad I finally saw this movie. Because I cannot go on YouTube without just seeing everything just spoiled for this movie. They have like 3 trailers, they got like 7 different clips, they got like behind the scenes footage, they got fucking commentary already. I'm like, this movie's been out for like 11 hours. Could you at least let us see the 95% that you're teasing us with? So basically, where this film, centers on is that a girl, and this is not spoilerish, this absolutely leads into the plot, as well as the actual story itself. And the plot here is that a little girl, Katie, is driving with her parents in a snowstorm when they are brutally murdered in an accident. Shortly after that, her aunt takes her under her wing, which her aunt is like this creator, this toy maker, and she makes like all these like robots and like weird futuristic knickknacks and everything, just stuff that you would cook up in like a lab. And that's one thing that I really want to talk about this movie, is that this movie is very futuristic. It is all about like the future of toys, not only like, where toys are going, going forward in the future, but even like, to like the circumstances of like toys becoming like irrelevant and everything because of like their internet and because of iPads, and how like kids have a different like, focus now. But the thing about this movie is that what I did like about it is that there are a lot of layers as far as storytelling goes. Like, and this is all without spoilers, I promise. This is just, different storylines that are, all connected within one movie. So yes, this little girl, Katie, her parents are murdered and her aunt takes her under her wing. So her aunt is like this, again, this toy maker. She makes like, a lot of like futuristic toys and everything. She's got this really scummy boss that like doesn't treat her right at all, doesn't really depend on her. She's kind of close to being like fired and everything. Again, her boss just treats her like shit. And this aunt, this toy maker, she has all these different like inventions like scoured throughout her house, which is another thing that I want to talk about that I was really excited about. It was like, again, the whole futuristic layout of the movie. I was excited for that, like as a world of this film. Again, like this woman, being this, robotic toy, futuristic toy creator, seeing that world like be the like the layout of this movie and everything, even like from like the building, like the company that she works for and everything, to even this like futuristic like layout where like all these things are relevant in this world, to even like all the different like knickknacks and inventions that she has like in collections that she has like lying around her house. That was one thing that I was more excited than like a lot of other things, was like seeing that be like the main focus of this kind of film. But you see, this toy maker, although she has all these inventions and everything, she hasn't really found her big break, either because like all the stuff that she's made is like, too like wiry. She hasn't figured out all the different programming to it. It's all, very expensive. It's just overly, it's over the top, and people don't want this, 6-foot fucking giant robot that fights in their fucking house. Not referring to M3GAN. But when she gets her niece, who is now this, orphan, you could call it, it's kind of bad timing, because this toy creator, she's actually on the verge of being fired, because again, her boss doesn't like her. Although she's very ambitious with the stuff she creates, it hasn't really sold, it hasn't really gone on the market, it hasn't shipped well or been well received, despite its ambitions. So it kind of like works in the sense of, she's like, I don't have time to focus on this kid, but this kid needs me, but I need to work on this invention. I need to create like the best thing I've ever made to keep my job. Not only that, but to actually woo the company and, go somewhere with my inventions for once. So she basically falls under like a circumstances of desperation. She's like, I don't want to lose this kid. This kid needs me, but I can't be here. I also need to keep my job, but I also need to do more than that and keep this company going. So she creates M3GAN. Now, I will say, there are a lot of criticisms I have with this movie. One is that, like, so I think that, like, the storyline, I think it's fine, and for what it is, and the movie definitely is cool with this. You can definitely tell that it's, like, it knows that it's doing this and it's completely okay with it. But it has a very simplistic and very minimal plot, where James Wan and the director of this film were like, okay, we know what the audience want. We know that the audience thinks that this is an absolutely batshit and ridiculous film, and it absolutely is. This film is the epitome of like an over-the-top, fine blend of like funny, campy, goofy, sometimes absurd horror. And again, while this film is very simplistic, very like minimal, and very just like, okay, we have like a solid and easy enough, background to these characters, to this aunt and this niece. We know that this niece is, abandoned and is lonely. We know that this aunt is a futuristic toy creator and needs to do something big to keep her job. So yeah, she uses like the emotion and the grief of and the trauma of like her niece to like make this robot doll, M3GAN, that is like supposed to, like, basically the dolls are supposed to each pair with like one person, and based off of that person, their connection with only that one person, they're actually supposed to be like people like gaining different like skills, different emotions, just actually growing almost like an actual person would. But here's where like some of my criticisms come into play. Like I said earlier, how it's like a very simplistic and minimal plot. Like it could have definitely been more, but I get that they're just trying to get to like where the spotlight is, where it's like M3GAN actually comes into the picture and is the actual center of the tension, which is, what everyone wants. There's like just that very minimal like requirement as far as like background for like this doll's creation and everything. We know that this person creates futuristic toys, robots specifically. She's, has to come up with something fast, so she makes her next robot, which the reason why it's all malfunctioned and like demented and evil and everything, I thought that was kind of explained like enough in my opinion, where it's like they had to rush to make this doll and everything, and all the wiring and programming weren't completely, set in stone yet, but they had to get it out, so they just said, fuck it. It's good to go. We did what we could, basically. And with this doll obviously picking up like emotions, and with this doll M3GAN being the companion to this girl who has certain emotions like anger and trauma and grief and everything, and stuff that is not exactly, healthy, M3GAN just grows into being an overprotective robot that, if anybody like makes this girl cry for, whether regardless of what kind of tears it is, or if they make this girl angry or something, she's basically gonna go and, assassinate them. But like, as an overall movie, I did like a lot of this film. I didn't know at first, like maybe in like the first half, maybe first act or so, how much I was actually digging it. I do like the supporting actors. I think that, for the most part, all of them are fine, as far as how much screen time they all get, how, different each character is amongst, all the characters. There is one character in particular who's like a therapist that I wasn't a big fan of, and that kind of goes back into like the first act, where it's like a lot of stuff just feels very rushed. They're just like, okay, we need to get all this stuff from all these characters, make it make sense just enough to make this whole bizarre plot. And that's kind of where like this therapist falls into place, and like how she kind of comes into the picture, and how quick like things turn with her character and everything, and just how she presents herself like right off the bat, where her character goes. Not only did I not like it, but like, well, a therapist is absolutely required for this little girl's character, I just don't think that like she was really needed in the movie. But the little girl, she was actually like one of my favorite characters of the movie. I didn't, hate her as a child, performer at all. I thought she was very, honest and very realistic, very mature enough for the character that she was playing in this movie. And with that, with how much I like the main character, who's actually a little girl and everything, as well as all the supporting characters and all the layers of this movie, all the storylines and the futuristic layout and everything. Also with me saying earlier how this was like, your perfect blend of like campy, goofy, sometimes absurd fucking horror, and genuinely actually scary at times. I just gotta say, guys, when M3GAN comes into the picture, you feel right off the bat that something is fucking wrong here. Like, not just the fact that it's like a creepy doll walking around, but like, you see this doll and you're like, yeah, James Wan definitely had something to do with this. Did you steal this fucking thing out of Zach Bagans' museum? And you, Miss Toy Creator, why would you make that? Aren't you trying to dress shit for kids? Aren't you trying to get them off the iPads and make them want to play with dolls again? This is not the way to do it. Like, I was not expecting this character not only to be as horrifying as it was, but I was not expecting this doll to be scary at all. I was like, oh boy, it's a Blumhouse film, it's PG-13, it's in January. And then I saw that, viral dancing, and I'm like, You're not even trying, are you? But this film was actually surprisingly pretty damn ambitious. Like, bear with me here. It's that perfect movie where it's like, if you have several friends from out of town, it's like a day in October, and you got some like Four Loko going on. I don't know if there's a better contender than M3GAN as the movie where you're like, you guys seen fucking M3GAN? Again, it is just that perfect blend of like stupid, fun, actually pretty scary at times, but sometimes fucking absurd, ridiculous horror. Is it a good movie? I don't know. I was talking with my friends about that, because me and a couple friends went and saw it. We were all talking about that, like, on the way home. We're like, would we call it good? I don't know. Is it fucking entertaining and fun as shit? Yes. If we get a sequel, which they've already planned we are, come on, it's from James Wan, who has, like, 5 Insidious movies, 6 Conjuring movies, and, like, 12 Saw movies, and Blumhouse, who has, like, sequels to all of their movies. With the buzz of this movie and the hype for it, yeah, I can't wait for that sequel. I'm actually pretty damn excited because I want to see more of this futuristic layout. I like the tone and the focus for this kind of movie. Overall, guys, I would say that I'm going to give this movie a positive to mixed review, but I'm definitely leaning more on the positive side. So yes, guys, that is going to do it for my review of M3GAN. When I say that this film lived up to the hype, I don't know. Again, it's fun. It's definitely not a bad movie, but I don't know if I'd necessarily call it good than just entertaining as shit. But let me know of what you guys think of this movie once you see it. I'm sure you guys will. It's got a lot of buzz, a lot of hype, a lot of very good reviews. So far, it's at like a fucking 95%. Also, let me know what you guys thought about my review down below. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys very soon in a huge lineup of videos. This month is absolutely stacked. Remember fucking January of last year? Let me remind you. Yeah, we got like 2 movies. But yes, guys, that is going to do it for this review. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a great night, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.